What's going on, everyone? It's Marco here with CoatingLaunch, and I'm super excited to have a guest with me today. His name is Dustin from Bigfoot's Concrete Coating. He runs an amazing coating business out of West Virginia, and part of the reason why we're here today is we want to talk about, the winter. The winter season, and concrete coating businesses can struggle going into the winter season. And specifically, we want to talk about how to winter proof your business. And if you're in an area where you might get snow or hail or rain or just more of a mild winter, then this video is for you. So welcome here to the video. Dustin, how you doing today?
Hey, good, Marco. How are you?
Good. It's been a great day so far. Super excited to have you on board here. And Dustin's been a client for over a year now here at CoatingLaunch, and he's been doing some amazing things, which I'm sure he's going to share about here in a little bit. And again, just kind of back to the main point here, as far as winter proofing your concrete coating business and that sort of thing. Before we dive deep into that, Dustin, can you share with the audience, like, how did you get started in the concrete coating business? How long you've been doing it and that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So I got started in 2017. I got started with Elitecrete, went to a training. Wasn't doing coatings at that time at any sort of a level. I'm a general contractor by trade, so I have the licensing to do a lot more. I have chosen in these years since then to specialize and just stay in this arena because we've had so much success with it. So with our coatings now, we no longer use Elitecrete. We've bounced around a little bit kind of with what we like to use and what products we found work for us within our region. And that's kind of where we're at today. We use a little bit of a mix from different distributors. We're not just exclusive to one. We have different things that we purchase from different people.
Good. And so you've been doing this for a minute now.
Yes.
How many crews do you have now?
So currently we have 2 3-man crews. We're working on setting up a 3rd crew right now. And those crews pretty well work with each other. It's usually the same crews day in and day out. The same guys are working together day in and day out.
Yeah. And you've been a client of ours for, time just flies. We're just talking about this for over a year now. And it's, I mean, it's almost election season, right? Election next month. How's your experience been as far as like marketing, that side of things?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I wouldn't say we were busy before we started with you guys. We were steady. And then, we went that direction and the floodgates opened. Almost, you could say, within 48 hours. The leads just slammed in and never really stopped. We're in a little bit of a lull right now, but it's nothing out of the norm from the past, just in this area. But it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. And you guys had, what was it, 1 crew last
year?
Yes.
Yeah. When we started, we were just at 1 crew.
Yeah. And these are 3-man crews. So it's not like originally two people per crew, but you have 3. So you're kind of knocking out these jobs a lot quicker.
Yes. We do a lot of 1-day installs. Not everything in our region can be a 1-day install. We obviously, on this side of the U.S., and that's kind of what we'll get into with these basements, we have moisture to contend with here, as well as 4 seasons. So that creates challenges, and not every install can be a 1-day install.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, awesome. And so, just diving into some of the winter challenges.
Yes.
Winter can be tough for concrete coating, right?
Certainly.
Especially for coating businesses that are looking to dominate and keep their crews busy during the winter. It can be tough. So what are some of the biggest challenges you face in these winter months?
Yeah, so it ebbs and flows every winter. It can be a little bit different. Some winters you can get those times where it's just super cold and blustery, and there's when it's 10, 12, 15 degrees, there's not a whole lot of garage floors you're going to be able to do. So you got to kind of course correct and be willing to get into the basements and some of those things, and some of the jobs, more commercial work. We do a lot more commercial work in the winter. I'm not exactly sure why the calls pick up here for commercial work. We don't necessarily do industrial work. I kind of stay away from that. But we are able to complete garage floors in the winter. We just handle them a little bit differently.
Okay.
So like some of the things we might do for a garage floor in the winter is like, even if we sell the garage floor with the apron, I might not do the apron that day. If it's too cold, we'll shut the door, score the floor. And then I might come back on another nice day and just knock the apron out and some polyaspartic chips and a top coat. And the floor's still sold. It's still in. We work with electric heaters, any kind of space heater we can get into the space. Work with the customer the night before, having them get a space heater on or two. I've dropped them off for some people in the past at their house to make sure that that space can be tempered before we get there, or at least brought up to temperature. So those are just some of the little things that we will do.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So you're doing garages throughout the winter,
Yes.
but you're just doing it a little bit differently.
Yes.
And that sort of thing. But you're right. There's going to be less buyers during the winter. There's just traditionally, right? More people are making decisions in the spring and the summer, right? Whereas in the fall and the winter, you're going to have less buyers, but obviously there's still people buying, right? There's still, as long as you're running sales estimates and you're providing a solution, you say you could do it and you could really do it, then why not? Right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So last winter it really was kind of bizarre. I mean, we had so many leads coming in last December. I mean, really, it was November, December, January. I know it's an election year, so it's a little bit funky. This year, I don't believe we'll be able to use this data and compare it to last year just because it is so different. But there are some things that we do. And if you would like, I can kind of talk about that a little bit with what I do in the community.
Yeah. Before we get into that, it looks like we got a question here from Amanda. Amanda, it looks like she runs a company out of, I'm not sure exactly from, but she runs a home service and coding business. She said, are you recruiting? If so, how? Are you ready to replace or scale back if anyone quits? So I think she's, talking about, if let's say one of your team members, quit or whatever, are you replacing them? Like, are you scaling back your crews?
No, we'll replace them immediately. We actually have so we've used Indeed in the past to find a lot of people. We've had a ton of success with Indeed. Indeed's been wonderful for us. And honestly, we find people usually within 24 to 48 hours, pretty quick, get them in for an interview and, and get them hired, get them trained. We do all of our training and things like that in-house, but we definitely replace. I don't just leave those crews with two because it's too much. The expectations are too high. We have a pretty high standard here with how we like to work, and I don't want to put too much stress on two guys.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you're used to being efficient with three people, knocking the jobs out a lot quicker. I think you had mentioned you guys were winning some bigger jobs too. Like,
yes,
you could do those bigger jobs so much quicker with an extra hands.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's dive into the other thing you wanted to talk about as far as the winter there.
Yeah. So some of the things that we've done is what's worked really well is in your areas, whatever, the general contractors, and then of course the masonry contractors, your block layers, your concrete finishers, your concrete contractors, your hardscape people, your landscape yards, get to those places and let them know who you are, especially if you're doing exteriors and patios. You can solve a lot of people's problems. And we also bail out a lot of finishers when they have bad finishes, bad pours, whatever it may be. So allowing yourself to get out there and be known by the other contractors. So when they see something that is unique and maybe it's a little above their pay grade or just something they're not interested in at all, you're kind of in the front of their mind as far as like, you could call this person and they could easily solve your problem. So that's something we've done. We do get a lot of referrals from landscape companies and the hardscape people, patio paver people, that type of stuff. And then as well as our decorative people. I have lots of friends that do a lot of stamp work and overlays. We don't touch overlays, not my thing. I don't stamp or pour any concrete, not my thing. But those guys know what we do, and they send us a good bit of work when they see that there's something that we could work together on. So that's been really good for us.
Yeah, just developing those relationships with other people that would be aligned and send you work. You're right. Concrete people, decorative concrete people, they'll send you garage, basement jobs if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then as far as like, because I know a big question people are asking me and just the industry as a whole right now is like, what do I do? Like garages are going to become harder to do. You can't do patios. You can't do driveways. You can't do carports. So like, what do I do? And so the specific items that I think you mentioned that you're going to be doing, I mean, obviously you guys are going to continue to do garages like you mentioned.
Yep.
Basements. If you're in an area that has basements, typically the Midwest and those areas have basements. I was just speaking to a client out of Georgia. They don't have a ton of basements there, but also their winters are not as crazy as your guys' winters. So it's like you should be able to do garages, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So chances are, if you don't have basements, you should be able to do garages, but also interior floors, right? I mean, so I know not everybody does metallics, but like you could do interior floors, right?
Sure. We do a lot of them.
Dining rooms, things like that, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We don't so much. I'm not a big metallic person. I've had problems with them in the past. Again, it's one of those things. There's people out there that do beautiful work. I see it on all these Facebook pages and stuff. I like throwing chips. That's what the guys like doing. It's very easy for me to sell something that I know exactly what it's going to look like when I can hold it up to the customer and say, do you want it to look like this or like this? Feel like this or feel like this. And it just works. Sometimes with some of those systems, you don't always know the outcome unless you're, really skilled at what you do. And you can kind of get yourself in a bind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's good. And the other thing I'd like to mention for folks listening is, commercial work becomes very popular in the winter because, there's just less people in these locations, and especially around the holidays. You talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year's, when these commercial areas close down for work, that's when people come in and do the floors. And so, to prepare for things like that, you want to start marketing for commercial right now, whether that's polished concrete or commercial coatings like epoxy and polyspartics and things like that, even like urethane cement for commercial work. I'm going to share my screen here. Dustin, this is a client of ours. They're out of New York, and you can see here they're starting to prepare for the winter, right? So they're running commercial polished concrete ads. And when I tell you the leads that come in through these type of ads are, I mean, it's such low hanging fruit, because nobody else advertising for commercial. When there's nobody else advertising for commercial, I mean, you're the only person. People are still looking. General managers, building owners, landlords, general contractors, like these people are still looking for flooring businesses.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that we found too, that it's been over the last handful of months, we seem to be getting calls for are from realtors. So we get a number of calls from, some of these larger realty companies that might have multiple properties that they're managing, buildings that they built, they're just renting out. And we're seeming to get into a number of those to where they're wanting their concrete, something done with it. So that could be another avenue as well to talk to your realtors, talk to those people. I mean, I definitely do talk to a lot of realtors now. I have a lot of them that are friends of mine, but it's been something that we've seen. It's been kind of a trend since early summer that we are getting a lot of calls from these people and coming in and fixing up their properties and their concrete around their properties.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. What we're seeing as well is, if I were to share my screen one more time here, this is another one of our partners. They're in Minneapolis, south of Minneapolis, but you could see here, like all of the ads are going to be focused on interior floors. Okay. All of the ads that we create in the marketing. And if you're not, let's say you're not a client CoatingLaunch, that's fine. But with your ads, talk to your marketing company, make them make interior floor ads only at this point in time, because right now that's what people are going to make decision on is their garages, their basements, and interior floors, whether like metallics if you're doing metallics, and because what people see on the ad is what they click on and what they're wanting. Follow me? And so if you have a picture of a carport or a driveway, just don't run those ads right now if you're expecting snow in the next month or two. Start prepare for the winter time. That's something that we recommend as well. And this is just an example of like your guys' ads, right? So
Yep.
1 to 2 to install. I mean, you're a veteran. Durable floor coatings, like this is interior, right? Someone sees this,
Yes.
they're not going to be looking for a patio right now,
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll mention as well is I think you had said that you're with multiple different companies. You're looking for advice all the time from different supply and different distribution companies. We're not like super like exclusive to anyone right now as well, but Cimarron is a good option. If you're out there and you're looking for more like technical knowledge, Cimarron has really good reps that you could speak to. I think they have like 13 locations nationwide, so there's plenty of people and staff to be able to talk to. It's always nice to have someone in your corner, whether it's the companies you had mentioned earlier, or Cimarron or whatever company. It's just you want to make sure you get on the phone with someone and talk about the product you're buying, how long it takes to cure, if you can change the cure time for the winter, right?
Sure.
That way, summer cure times and winter cure times are different, and so you might switch up your product depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And again, just having somebody in your corner from a technical knowledge will be super helpful, unless you know how to do all of that yourself.
Yeah.
But that's super important. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Dustin, as well, is like from a marketing standpoint, other than stuff we mentioned here, what are you doing to prepare? Because it will get harder. It's going to take more inquiries in the winter.
Right.
Your crew is the same busy than it is in the summer. So what are you doing to prepare for that?
Yeah, so we try to stay booked out. There's a point in time over the summer we were about 12 weeks booked out most of the summer. We've closed that up some. It's just, like I said, it's slowed off a little bit lately. But again, like kind of what you said, we wouldn't begin to put any emphasis into showing people patios and sidewalks and steps and those things right now. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to be showing people garages, basements, what our capabilities are, what a moisture system is, maybe kind of like if everybody knows what like an explosion diagram is, but like Torganol and a lot of your chemical manufacturer have where it'll show like the substrate, the primer, the mid coat, your chips, and your top coat. Maybe putting that type of stuff in your post to allowing people to understand like what the difference is between a basement system and a garage floor if you're just running a one-day system. Why a moisture coat is important in a basement or something like that. Just those little bits of tidbit and data that we will put out online. And then, it seems to work pretty well with what we've done in years past. And, we're just going to keep hammering it out this year and, not backing off of what we've done in the past and just trying to learn more for even next year.
Yeah, exactly. The guys that have done this for many years obviously know what to do. They just use intuition, do it again. There was a question here in the comments. Looks like one question: how can I get more clients just starting my company? I do epoxy in garages. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So, I mean, Atlanta's pretty mild, right? I mean, What do you think there?
So what I would do right off the rip is I would absolutely, like I was saying earlier, going to meeting your concrete or your hardscape contractors. And by hardscape, I mean those people that do paver patios, driveways, sidewalks. Once those people know who you are and know that you're not a hack and know that you're capable of completing the work, they're going to begin to aid in sending you work. That costs nothing. Obviously Facebook content works really, really well. Lots of pictures, lots of content. That type of stuff works really, really well. Pretty pictures and lots of pictures. And don't be afraid to post. Who cares what people think? I mean, we try to get as much content up as we can and just keep things on our page and keep it relevant. We also have a showroom though. It took me a little bit of time to get here. We do have a really nice building with where we're at right now, and we're in a prime location. We have a nice showroom. We have a nice office and a great office staff now as well. So that has really helped us out. We brand up pretty strong. Learned a lot of that from you, Marco, and the videos and things that you had us watch in the early days, kind of when we first started. But those are just some of the tactics that I could recommend that would be like a cheap down and dirty. So introducing yourself to the contractors in your area, maybe even getting involved with a chamber. Sometimes that can cost money getting into a chamber if you're just starting, but going to a lot of the events and things they'll put on, that costs nothing. Introducing yourself to people, that costs nothing. And putting yourself out there on Facebook, that doesn't cost anything either.
Yeah. Those are all things I heard that are free.
Exactly.
Like you could start that today, driving over to the right place or doing the right thing on Facebook for free.
Yep. That's literally exactly how what I did when I knew we needed to get busy. That's what we did.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that's best, right? If you're starting out, that's what you have to do. You kind of need to do what you have to do. If you have the investment, obviously, Facebook ads could work really well for you as long as you do it right. I wouldn't recommend just like boosting random posts without any sort of call to action or any sort of like direction on it. But I've seen success with people doing things like that too. I mean, they could, let's say they don't have enough investment for a marketing agency, then they could boost, but make sure you have, the right call to action in direction on the ads, and that can help you win a job or two, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the other thing too, I talk to a lot of guys, or people ask, well, how do we get the level of work that we get, or what does we do? The other thing we do is we answer the phone. I run into so many people that tell me they called company A, B, or C, and no one picked up the phone. No one showed up for an estimate. All those things that seem very basic, they get missed often. And we try to make sure that with what we do here, we do things different than I want to be different than all the other contractors in this area, not just the coating contractors, all the others. We want to operate differently, operate with a high level of customer care and satisfaction. We do rely heavily on reviews. I believe they're worth a lot. Maybe more than most other things. They're worth a lot. So we keep our guys nice and clean. We actually just got uniforms. They just got into them this week. So that, I just didn't want to destroy all their own stuff. And they look really nice when they come out now to everybody's house. Everyone's wearing the same thing. The customer knows who the person is because their name tag is attached to the shirt. So again, it's just, kind of brand on brand is what I like to try to do.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. The last thing I want to ask you before we jump off of this is, if you were to start over all over again, like start the coating business all over again, what would you do differently, or what would you say to that person who is in those shoes?
Yeah, if I was to start over and do it all over again with, it's not as scary as it seems. I think the biggest thing is making sure you're doing quality work. Right place, right time, right uniform type of thing. Answer the phone. The calls will keep coming as long as you keep answering the phone and do good work and do what you say you're going to do. If you screw jobs up, which you're going to, it's going to happen. My guys screw things up. It happens. Fix them. If you're offering a warranty, make sure you are taking care of your warranties. You don't want people
gotta follow through on
bad things online. All that stuff could happen. But if I was starting over day one, week one again, I would definitely, equipment is great. You don't need to have the biggest, baddest stuff right off the rip. There's lots of companies out there. You can get great grinders for, a fraction of what some of these others are. That'll at least get you into where you need to be.
Yeah.
And ally yourself with people that know what they're talking about. Not all these. I talk to a lot of reps out there. There's a lot of chemical pushers out there. And they call into the office often and want to have meetings with me. There's a lot of them that just push chemicals. So definitely ally yourself with someone like you said, Marco, with Cimarron. You hooked me up with them a few weeks back. I think we're going to try to get together next week. Those guys definitely know. They know their sauce.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, you heard it from the king of coatings in West Virginia, and that's what I'm going to start calling you from now on out.
I like it. I like it. I got to send you some merch. I'll send you the Squatch.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome business name, by the way. Put in the comments if you guys like Bigfoot's Concrete Coating, the name.
Yep.
Put in the comments. It's an awesome name. Well, anyways, we appreciate you having you on here, Dustin.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thanks,
your time
Marco.
and energy. You didn't have to do this, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Yep.